Now, you may not be aware, but Zelda Link's Awakening originally started off its life as an official Nintendo Game Boy remake of A Link to the Past. Well, at least for a very brief period of time, that was the idea. It didn't last long though, as the development team eventually ditched the remake idea and decided to take the game in a different and quite playful direction. Vestiges and hints of its Link to the Past influence can be seen throughout the game, but especially in early screenshots as it was transitioning toward its current form. For example, here's a Death Mountain scene. Wow, that location still exists in the game, of course. However, even more was revealed about this heritage after the Giga Leak, a massive Nintendo data leak in 2020, where unused assets and new info about the game's development came to light. For example, included in the leaked files was a Link to the Past overworld map that was remade and downsized for the Game Boy, and here's our Death Mountain Bridge. Now, it just so happens that a modder is using these leaked assets and old screenshots to remake a beta Game Boy version of A Link to the Past. Big thanks to Andrew from the UK for sending me this work-in-progress demo. Let's go ahead and start with Kakariko Village, or Kakariko Village, or Kakariko Village. You know, anytime I pronounce it any which way, you guys always correct me in the comments, so just go crazy. Let me know how it's actually supposed to be pronounced. I've always said Kakariko Village. I don't know. As you can see, it's very cute and downsized in terms of detail. There's also currently a glitch that occasionally makes enemies spawn as the wrong character, like an NPC for example. You can reset this with a debug command and they will return to their normal state. I think it's kind of fun though. Obviously it won't be like this in the final build, but sometimes showcasing these glitches and little steps the programmer is working on can sort of be an enjoyable look behind the curtain. So sorry again to the developer for showing this. I just think it's, you know, good for kind of people to see how these games are worked on and the different glitches and things that occur during development. Now here we have some normal enemies to fight that aren't spawning as NPCs. Overall, this is like a very cute, extra chibi version of A Link to the Past. Granted, I'm glad we got Link's Awakening, I think that was the better choice, but it certainly would have been interesting to see a quote-unquote official demake of the SNES title. By the way, none of these houses are usable, they will just spawn you into a dungeon or some other random cave or area. Here's another example of the enemies spawning incorrectly. In this case, they're giving each other a pep talk or a delightful group hug. Here we have an earlier version of the menu. Keep in mind this isn't A Link to the Past, it's just a pre-release version of Link's Awakening's menu. Here's the final, here's the demo, the final again, different instruments and instrument placements, a much different sprite for Yoshi, etc, etc. Now let's go ahead and take a look at Death Mountain, which we can get to in this demo by turning the collision off. Here's the SNES map again for reference, and the beta Game Boy map for comparison. Here on the top left we have a beta screenshot, and on the top right we have the final retail version of this bridge. Here is the Tower of Hera. Again, everything is downsized and miniaturized. And we're out of bounds again, so this is sort of out of where the demo exists. And out of bounds once more. So that is it for today, but the developer is working on more areas and hopes to get the entirety of the overworld complete and playable for all of you. So is this something that you would play? What do you think about the mod? Would you have played this game if it was released back on the original Game Boy back in the 90s? Let me know in the comments below. And of course, don't forget, if you like this type of content, to subscribe, hit the notification bell, all that good stuff. Hope to see you all back for the next one. Take care.